Hey guys, I'm back. I know, took a little longer than I thought. I apologize. But I really needed to tidy up the house. It was really bothering me, so I decided to just, you know what do I need to do? Eat some food. I'm feeling a lot better now, so let's continue on this route. So, at this point, we are doing the second shot at Waltz's route. So, will this path go any differently? We'll see. So, I'm going based on the code that whatchamacallit, one of I think Ultimate Dream World is the blog that Ultimate Dream World has been explaining. And it was basically like be as kind as possible, be honest, and basically kind of follow Waltz's lead. Though there's going to be one time where when you don't. So I'm debating whether to stick with play along or tell the truth. Playing along would be wonderful, but and it did come to a really, really beautiful scene. But I'm almost leaning towards telling the truth and see what happens. So I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm not a fairy godmother. The girl's face falls and Waltz frowns at me. Should I have not told her the truth? I sigh. But I'm here to fulfill your wish. My wish? Yes. I hold out the gift. This is for you. The girl reaches out and takes the bear. Her eyes light up as she stares at it. Is this the teddy bear? I nod and the little girl squeals, twirling around with the wrapped teddy bear tight in her arms. And suddenly she puts the bear down and throws her arms around my neck. Thank you! Thank you for granting my wish, Miss Fairy Godmother! I'm too shocked to react. Mama! Mama, look what my fairy godmother brought me! I can only stare as the little girl runs back into her house with the gift. Thank you. I glance at the man who, much to my surprise, his tears running down his cheeks. He's still somehow smiling through them. I will never forget your kindness. He dips into a short bow that disappears into his home. This is a piece of the glass slipper. Your first good deed. I stare in disbelief at the hovering piece in my hand. One moment it is there, the next has been swallowed by a bright light and is joined with my pendant. I cannot believe it. Waltz! Waltz, look! But Waltz is not looking at my new pendant. He is looking at my face, his gaze enraptured. You know what? I think I'm going to go back and actually go back to the original decision, because, don't save. Because, Waltz did say something additional with her, with her sticking along with it, which, if you played the previous playthrough, he does do an additional line, which I can highlight it. There was an extra line that he says if you did the second option. I can pull it up. Never mind. It didn't say it. That's funny. Okay. What are you looking at? You just smiled. I did? It's beautiful as I remember. I feel slightly embarrassed and have no words that quickly turn my head away. Oh, it's a dishwasher. I was wondering, what's that sound? Is it raining again? Because it was raining pretty heavily this morning, so... I was thinking that was happening, but nope, it's a dishwasher. I'm glad that you decided to play along with my story. Okay, yeah, this is the part that I said. So I didn't finish it though, but okay. You made her birthday extra special by making her believe that you were her own fairy godmother. So no matter how tough things are, every child has someone watching over them so long as they're good. My eyes are still on the slipper when I hear an unfamiliar voice behind us. Cinderella's glass slipper, huh? We both turn around to stare at a man standing a few feet from us. He's cloaked in darkness, but I could still make out his grin. Hello, princess. Chapter 5. To protect. The world from devastation, to unite all peoples in our name. To denounce the evils of truth and love. I'm sorry! I don't know why I didn't think of this the first time I played it through, but it just screamed that. Team Rocket blasting off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to... Okay, I'm done. This is not helping either, but anyway. The man starts walking toward us slowly. Waltz moves to stand in front of me. Princess, stay close to me. Good evening, Princess Lucette. And a good evening to you too, Peter Pan. The man drops to an elegant bow. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Varg. What do you want, Varg? How do you know who we are? I'd love to stay and chat, but I have more important things to do. The princess is coming with me. Varg takes one long stride toward us. He taps the cane that he is holding onto the ground. A surge of light emanates from the cane and flares out toward us. Princess, go back to the margin. Hurry! Waltz darts toward Varg before I can stop him. Varg raises his cane and twists it in one sharp movement. The light abruptly changes direction and slams into Waltz's side, throwing him some distance away. Waltz! Before I could step away, Varg has lifted me into his arms. He grins at me, almost wolfishly, before darting away from Waltz. No! Princess! Let me go! No can do, princess. I'll let you go and things will get messy. What do you want from me? Are you a... I can't even say the word. My blood runs cold as I consider the situation. Are you a witch? That I am not. Can you expect me to believe you? You just used magic back there. I guess I did. Let me go! I squirm in his arms, tending to kick and push him away from me. Varg abruptly stops with a grunt to let me down. This is my chance. I start to pull away from him, but he quickly grabs my wrist and pulls me back. Not so fast. Get your hands up of me. I'm not here to hurt you, princess. After what you did to Waltz. He leans in toward me and takes a look me in the eyes. Well, if he was in the way. Besides, it's not like I killed him. Varg begins walking again, this time pulling me with him. I try to break away from his iron grip, but fail. Where are you taking me? Back to where you truly belong. There's one thing I learned from the fairy tales, is that a princess belongs in a palace. I'm unable to stop the gasp that leaves my lips. He stops and turns to me. You've been away from home far too long, princess. Don't you want to go back? I do want to go home, but I'm not welcome there anymore. At least not while I'm still cursed. Release her! Varg releases me just in time to block a sword strike that comes out of the darkness of the trees. How annoying. I can say the same thing about you. I back away as the two trade blows. Varg uses his cane to defend himself against the man that just emerged from the trees. That man. He's the one who was with Waltz. The man with the sword that helped me save me from bandits from all those months ago. There's something graceful in the way the man moves and swings his sword at Varg. It almost looks like he's dancing. The stranger continues swiping his sword, eventually gaining enough leverage to force Varg back. He moves so quickly that it takes all of Varg's reflexes simply to block his bad net. I can do it. He moves so quickly that it takes all of Varg's reflexes simply to block his slashes. You're so fast. Varg takes a few steps back and keeps a safe distance from the stranger. Impressive. The man gives Varg a lopsided smile as he points his sword at him, the two of them temporarily frozen as they each wait for the other to be first. You're not too bad yourself. Wait, is that? Now that he's stopped and I have a better look at him, I can see that the stranger's features are uncannily similar to Karma's. Karma? But is it really him? Princess, are you okay? I turn my head to see Waltz and Delora rushing toward me. How did you find me? Delora used her magic to track you down. Thankfully no other witches beat us here. Waltz halts in front of me while Delora advances toward the two men. So what do we have here? Delora, right? Can't say that it's a pleasure to meet you. I have to compliment you all. Did an impressive job hiding the princess from us. Took a while to finally track her down. Finding a so-called tavern was difficult, you know, but I got lucky. How does he know about the tavern? No sooner are the words out of Varg's mouth than the swordsman is suddenly upon him again, posed to attack. Varg blocks his sword a second too late and is forced to back away, clutching his now bloody arm. You talk too much. Sorry, I shouldn't have forgotten my manners in front of royalty. Varg's gaze turns to Delora, a smirk somehow still on his face despite his injury. You have quite an interesting bunch with you, witch. How about joining us instead? We could always use more witches like yourself. Thanks, but no thanks. Too bad. Varg turns to look at me. He holds out a hand and gestures me toward him. Come with me, princess. You know you don't belong here. I clench my hands into fists as I shake my head. Your mother won't be very happy with her decision, princess. Especially after all she's done to make sure you'll be a suitable heir. Mother? What are you talking about? But Varg ignores me as he raises his cane. Sorry to leave the party so quickly, but I'll be back soon enough for you, princess. Next time, whether you like it or not, you'll be coming with me. I'm not done with you. Delora throws her hands out, the cane together light in her palms, but Varg has already brought his cane down on the ground. Thick smoke envelops the area, making my eyes water. When the smoke clears, Varg is gone. Delora huffs in annoyance as she lows her arms back down to her sides. That's perfect timing, actually. Oh my gosh, look at that! Like the music ended like that, and then I just immediately read the next thing. It was just that was beautiful timing. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, I had to acknowledge that. To think that those witches are using a human to do their dirty work. What was that cane he was carrying? I look up at the stranger, who has sheathed his sword and is walking toward where Waltz, Delora, and I are standing. It's an enchanted item. That cane has been infused with a spell that allows Varg to use magic. Limited magic, but powerful enough to make him dangerous. It is far easier for a human to explore the kingdom without anyone getting suspicious. The stranger stands close enough for me to get a proper look at his face. No longer denied the resemblance I saw earlier. Karma? Is that really you? You have good eyes, darling. So that is what Karma looks like as a man. But why does he need to disguise himself as a woman? I opened my mouth to ask the question when I'm interrupted by Waltz's hand on my shoulder. Are you hurt anywhere? I turned to Waltz and freeze when I noticed the dry blood on his forehead. You're bleeding! I'll be fine. I stepped back and realized that Waltz is standing oddly, favoring one leg to the other. The heart must have badly hurt him. I have to go back now. I frowned as I studied Waltz's wound. We'd have to go back to the March Inn now. You need to have your wounds checked. This is nothing. I'm just glad you're not hurt. Stop worrying about me. You're not the one who needs medical attention. I cannot keep the edge from my voice when I speak. Waltz's expression falls. I'm sorry, Prince. I didn't mean to. Waltz's expression suddenly twists as he doubles over, his eyes glazed in pain. Waltz! Delora catches one of Waltz's arms, supporting him as he turns to address both Karma and I. We should return to the March Inn. Rumple needs to see to Waltz's injuries. Rumple? I'll explain everything once we're back. Delora calls for Rumple as soon as we arrive at the March Inn. When Rumple enters the reception area, he's clearly distraught by Waltz's injuries. What happened? Heal first, explain later. I expect Rumple to object and I'm surprised when he does nothing more than nod. Carefully, Rumple leads Waltz back into his room so he can be treated. Delora looks in the direction Rumple and Waltz have gone with a thoughtful look on her face. We're lucky that we have Rumple here with us. Denise is good with her herbs and small wounds, but Rumple has experience with more serious injuries. Experience? What are you talking about? Remember his curse? Rumple is not the only one who does not remember who he is. None of the townsfolk remember his name either. But what about those with the curse? Shouldn't they at least still be able to remember his name? Rumple is an exception to the rule, as he is with many things. In his case, not a single person can remember his name. Funny thing is, they can still recognize him. He ran to someone who called him a doctor today. Even just hearing it brought a memory back. He's gotten one of the chapters of his journal back now. He's quite the profession doctor. He collects his journal pages by retrieving memories from others that still remember him? What a strange curse. My eyes wander around the reception area and I notice that someone is missing. Well, where's Karma? Don't worry about him. He's probably changing now. I do not understand why Karma is so secretive about his reasons for wearing a disguise. Hold on one sec. Sorry. What to say? I'm about to ask Delora if she knows any of the specifics of Karma's curse when the door to the reception area is thrown open. Princess! I'm surprised when Anise suddenly throws her arms around me. She pulls me into a tight hug. I was so worried about you. Thank goodness you're safe. She pulls away and begins to wipe the tears that have sprung to her eyes. Why are you crying? Because I was worried about you, silly. She was really so worried she'd cry? Why? I'm intensely aware of the awkwardness of the situation. Thank you for worrying about me. I thought the words would do something to ease her worries, but her sobbing only grows louder. Anise? I'll get you something warm to drink. I stare up after Anise before I turn to look at Delora worriedly. Did I say the wrong thing? Quite the opposite, actually. You made her very happy. I did? But she was crying. They're called tears of joy, Princess. I'd be overwhelmed too if you were suddenly nice to me. Miracles tend to bring people to tears. I just said thank you. And that was a kindness in and of itself. No wonder she's so happy. I was being kind? Congratulations, Princess. You say that you've managed to complete your first good deed. My hand moves instinctively to my pendant. I clutch at the new piece that hangs there. I knew you could do it. Delora smiles warmly. For some reason, it makes me feel strangely proud. Parfait walks into the room, startling us both. It has been 2 weeks since I last saw her. Her face is ashen. Parfait, you know that continuously using your magic takes a toll on your body. I have no choice. The witches... Her voice trails off as her eyes meet Delora's. Parfait and Delora look at each other solemnly. The tension in the room mounts as they continue to stare at each other without uttering a word. Eventually, Parfait's eyes wander to me. Keeping her in the dark won't make the situation any better, Delora. Parfait moves toward me, but her knees buckle. Before I can react, Delora is already at her side, supporting her. Parfait, you need to rest. I'll take care of this. No, she needs to hear this from both of us. What is going on? We wanted to tell you about this later, but we can no longer afford to wait. Delora helps Parfait to a chair. I tentatively take a seat opposite the two of them. We're going to tell you the whole truth of the situation. The whole truth? Dolores sighs for her, but she eventually speaks. Do you know why I cursed you, Princess? Some twisted sense of mischief? That's not the whole reason. We needed you to change your ways, Princess, to change how you see the world. If we didn't do something, you were going to end up as merciless and cold-hearted as your mother. What are you talking about? My eyes go to Parfait, but she doesn't meet my gaze. Hilda, your mother was not always so cruel. Parfait's eyes look wet, as if she is about to cry. Why are you speaking as if you knew her? She was my friend. Long before she was the queen, Hilda was like a sister to me. But she changed when the witch hunt started. What does the witch hunt have to do with mother? Parfait does not meet my eyes, but Dolores is looking right at me. Mother was a witch, Lucette. The most powerful of the witches, in fact. Hilda was Tenebara bearer. My heart drops into the pit of my stomach. No, that is impossible. I never saw her use magic. She cannot be a witch. That's what she wanted you to believe. You cannot keep something like that a secret. If you try hard enough, you can keep anything a secret. Even from your own family. But how? Delora pauses for a long moment before she speaks. She erased her memories, Lucette. The air beats my lungs and struggle to remain calm. Waltz said that Mother ordered my memories to be erased, but are they saying that it was Mother herself who erased my memories? Jagged pieces of memory and thought begin to snap together in my mind. She needed you obedient and compliant. Whenever you acted out, she put a memory of disobedience from you. It didn't take long at all to mold you into a perfect and unquestioning little doll. I grip my dress without realizing. My hands are shaking. Then I did know Waltz. Mother really did erase memories of him. How much of my childhood did I lose? Hilda cherished humans before. Sorry, whoops, wrong voice. Hilda cherished humans before. She was kind and selfless. She was devoted to maintaining the balance between the Lucis and the Tenebara. But Hans? Delora moves to place a gentle hand on Parfait's shoulder. It's not your fault. I trusted him too much. He swore there would only be stories, small fantasies to share with his children. Hilda wanted to turn him away, but disagreed. I allowed Hans to read his tales about witches and fairies. The fairy tales? Delora nods. What they're referring to the Grimm brothers. The Brothers Grimm, I mean. Hans's fairy tales became hugely popular, and in practically every single one of his stories, there was a witch who was bad and a fairy who was good. Whoops, wrong voice. I'll switch back. Anyway, to add insult to injury, it was well known that Hans had been welcomed by the Lucis bearer, but not by the Tenebara bearer. Humans took that information and their imaginations ran wild. Hilda and I went to Hans to beg him to tell the truth, but it was too late. No matter what Hans said, everyone believed that he was being threatened by the witches. I don't think he ever meant for things to get so out of hand either. When the king at the time, your grandfather, also voiced his negative opinions on witches, he only added fuel to the fire. It was as if he was giving humans to carry on with their witch genocide. We did nothing to defend ourselves. We were bound by our oath to never hurt a living soul. The witch hunt lasted for years. Most of us were slaughtered. All witches are bound to the Tenebrarum bearer and the Tenebrarum itself. Hilda felt each of their deaths like it was her own. It drove her mad. And she broke our oath. She killed the king, your grandfather. Mother killed my grandfather? As Hilda's power kept growing, more and more good witches were corrupted with her influence in the Tenebrarum. I tried to stop her, but she was already lost to reason. Hilda wanted to take Angel for the witches. She wanted to take revenge on the humans for what they had done to all of us. Since her father was next in line, Hilda forced Gennaro to marry her so she would have a legitimate claim to the throne. She did, even though she knew he loved another woman. The very woman who sits on the throne today. Ophelia? Delora nods. The king has always loved Ophelia? Hilda created the fairy tale curse to punish the humans. She wanted to fill Cinderella with her hatred and anger. Parfai's voice becomes very soft. The balance between dark and light was lost. When Hilda lived, Angel was a place of grief. I could feel an impending headache coming. But even what you were saying is true. Mother is dead. She's been dead for 4 years. She is, but for some reason the witches are becoming more active. Garland and Jurian's patrols have confirmed this. Patrols? Is that why they disappear at night? I had to cast a glamour on you so that other witches wouldn't be able to recognize that. I can do this. I had to cast a glamour on you so that other witches would be unable to recognize you as the princess. But it seems like they've already seen through your glamour. They're looking for you, princess. The witches are looking for you. What? Why? In the freezer. So it just leaves its crunch. Anyway. The Tenebrarum needs a bearer. A witch that needs to take on the role and regulate the balance between the Lucis and the Tenebrarum. For the past few years, it has been in a state of hibernation. They believe Hilda infused her life into the Tenebrarum to keep it stable. But now the Tenebrarum is beginning to wake again. You believe it's why so many people are being cursed lately. The witches are preparing for their new bearer. Delora turns to me with an expression I cannot quite read. They only have to wait until you turn 18. The air in the room seems to disappear all at once. Princess, on your 18th birthday, your curse will break regardless of whether you complete your 3 good deeds. And you will become the Tenebrarum bearer. You'll inherit the title and that power from your mother. Impossible. My heart is racing and I feel faint. Even if Mother was a witch, I can't use magic at all. All happens if you inherit their magic at 18. No, I'm human. Princess. Delora's expression is grim as she speaks. We've been watching over you for a long time, we said. We know what sort of influence your mother had on you. The curse is a test. We need to know that you wouldn't return to Angel to what it was when your mother was queen. We can't allow another great war to tear Angel apart. Delora and I believe that there is still goodness left in you. You just needed a wake-up call. That's the curse and the 3 good deeds. We wanted to see what you hadn't in years, to be exposed to the true reality of things. And above all, we need to see that you were capable of 3 good deeds. I attempted to grasp the fleeting thoughts in my mind, but to no avail. I feel numb. That's it. No more secrets. Parfai's voice is gentle when she speaks to me. The future of this kingdom is in your hands. We follow your mother's footsteps, we achieve the same balance that we had before. No matter how much I try, I'm only able to sleep after my talk with Delora and Parfait. Mother was a wicked witch, and I'm the next bearer of the Tenebrarum. It all makes sense now. So many people hated me because they thought I would be just like Mother. I feel the weight of that truth crash down on me, and it is suffocating. What am I supposed to do now? I turn to my side and bring my knees to my chest. How do I know what the truth is anymore? Suddenly an idea occurs to me. There is one other person who might know the truth. Waltz. I wonder how he's doing. I slip out of my room and make my way toward Waltz's. Waltz is sound asleep when I push the door to his room open. He looks so small on the bed. I pause to look at the hefty amount of herbs lying on the table. Those herbs. I remember my niece once told me that they helped with pain. Uncle and Anise had given Waltz a lot of them. Thoughts about the truth of my mother retreat back to the back of my mind as I remembered the encounter with Varg. Waltz would have never gotten hurt if it wasn't for me. My eyes began to sting. Okay. So, I remember in the last chapter, I was a little bit more honest with my feelings. But maybe this time we could maybe this was where I came across the problem. Maybe I should try holding back the tears and see what happens? Let's go take a look. I reach up to rub them away as best as I can. Why am I crying? Are you crying? When did he wake up? I'm not. Liar. Waltz's voice is weak and his words are slurred. He's clearly still under the influence of the medication he has been given. I changed the topic. How are you feeling? I'll live. Waltz smiles at me weakly, but the sight only makes me more agitated until the words fall out of my mouth. How could you place my life over your own? You should have just stayed here instead of going with Delora. Waltz's expression darkens. I can't just sit here and do nothing while you are in danger. Waltz's voice begins to grow weak as his eyes flutter closed. Tired, Waltz. You should sleep. I feel like there was more development with that scene, so maybe that was the one part I went wrong. I don't know. I really don't know. But on the other hand, though, the part was be honest, so maybe it was still the wrong path anyway. But I'll keep going with it. Let's see what happens. He said, his voice is slurred and slow, but hearing him say my name without the title somehow feels nostalgic. Please don't cry, little star. Waltz closes his eyes, finally surrendering to sleep. I take a deep breath and leave his room, closing the door quietly behind me. Again! Okay. Abracadabra. Teach me how to do it too. A magician never reveals a secret, little star. You always say that. Please. Just this one. Please, Waltz. On your birthday. I will teach you how to do it on your birthday. Promise? Promise. I wake slowly. The dream somehow still clear in my mind. A dream about Waltz? Was that a memory? I shake my head before I glance at the clock, stopping to stare at the time. How is it already this late? Princess? Waltz? The door opens and Waltz walks inside with a tray of food. He sets it down by my bedside as I stare at him in shock. Oh, I don't want to look at my phone. I don't want it to die in the middle of my stream. There we go. I'm finally awake. Waltz, you're supposed to be in bed. I'm only injured, not an invalid, Princess. But I'm fine, Princess. It's not like you to worry so much. Let me plug in my headphones too, so that way I don't get any more dead devices. There we go. Get my bag back there. Okay. Alrighty. Proceeding. I respond to his smile with an exasperated sigh. He will never heal properly if he does not stay in bed. Here, I wanted to give this to you yesterday. Waltz reaches behind his back and pulls out a neatly wrapped box. It looks as if he pulls it out of thin air. Another magic trick? He hands me the wrapped box. What's this? You'll need to open it to find out. You've been wanting this, haven't you? I stared down at the doll he bought for me. It's the same one that caught my eye at the shop. The reason we went to the toy shop was so that you could buy this for me? Yep, I'm glad it didn't get damaged last night. My chest tightens with emotion. These dolls are expensive. Waltz would have needed more than just his usual show tips to buy this. Why would you buy this for me? I figured you might want the extra company, but you've always loved dolls, so I thought this one might cheer you up. I stare at the doll as I cradle her in my hands, my heart feeling full in my chest. Thank you. I've never gotten an unexpected gift like this before. Oops. Waltz clears his throat. When I look up at him, I notice that his expression is somehow sad. Lady Parfait told me that she and Delora told you the whole story yesterday. I have to apologize to you. For what? The reason why they didn't tell you earlier is because I asked that they keep it a secret. I looked down at my doll, my mouth suddenly dry. Why? Because I wanted you to enjoy having a normal life, even if it was just for a short time. Knowing the truth limits your freedom. I didn't want you to feel that pressure so soon. But I could see now that it was selfish of me to deprive you of the truth. I'm sorry. I clutched tighter at the doll, unable to look up at Waltz. Why would you be so kind without expecting anything in return? Kindness doesn't always need to be paid back. When you do something for someone, they will always expect the favor to be returned. That's what Mother taught me. What I've experienced, no one is ever kind without expecting something in return. I don't expect anything from you in return, Princess. But how can I know for certain that you are speaking the truth? Well, you can't. No matter what someone's true intentions are, their actions are always up for a different interpretation. So, it'll be up to you to judge their actions. Only you can decide whether or not to believe in me. I pull my knees up to my chest, curling up around the doll. I still don't understand how you can be kind to me. You told me yourself it was the Tenebrorum bearer that cursed you. That means my mother? Your mother was the witch that took away my magic and sealed it in Neverland. But that does not mean it is your fault that I'm cursed. You're more than just Hilder's daughter, Princess. You're your own person, and I know for a fact that you are capable of more goodness than Hilder ever was. Waltz gestures toward my necklace. You're only two good deeds away from breaking your curse. I would not have accomplished the first one without your help. In fact, I've done nothing to help you break your... My voice trails off as my thoughts begin to come together. Waltz! To break your curse, you need to find Tinkerbell in Neverland, right? What do they look like? Neverland is a gold box with the carving of wings in the top, and Tinkerbell with the matching key. I sit up abruptly. We have to go to the palace. Waltz stares at me, his expression clearly perplexed. What? Why? Because I know where to find Tinkerbell in Neverland. Break! Waltz's description of Neverland and Tinkerbell was enough to jog my memory. A long time ago, Mother gave me a box and a key that matched Waltz's earlier description perfectly. She gave me strict instructions to hide them in my room and to never let anyone else have them. I never questioned Mother's orders and kept both the box and key tucked in one of my drawers. I'd forgotten I even had those things until Waltz mentioned them. The minute I remembered, I sent a letter to Rob requesting he help us get into the palace. I knew that a strained relationship would make it hard for him to trust me, so I emphasized the importance of the item we needed to obtain. A week later, he finally came through. Now we're just outside the palace, waiting for him. Jurian and Garland are here to protect us in case the need arises. I glanced at Waltz, who was standing beside me, fidgeting. He has been against me coming with him ever since he found out my plans. You cannot stop me. I refuse to be left behind. You still won't change your mind about this, Princess? You know the situation with the witches. It's not safe for you to be here. It's not safe for me anywhere outside the margin, and you know it. You know that. Besides, how do you plan on finding Neverland and Tinkerbell without me? I'm the only one who knows where they are. Like I said, if you just tell me where they are, I can go on my own. There's no need to put yourself in this much danger. I'm going. You cannot stop me, Waltz. Princess. I turned to face him fully. This is my choice, Waltz. I want to do this. For a moment there is silence between us as Waltz studies my expression. He eventually sighs and shakes his head. I should know by now that there's no changing your mind when you're determined to do something. Just promise to stay close to me, okay? I nod absently as I feel around my pocket for a small object, a vial that Parfait gave me before Waltz and I left for the palace. She said it should help us when the need arises. It is a shame that neither Parfait nor Delora could be here due to their urgent meeting with the fairies. Durian and Gerlin finally arrived with Rod. Ready? I can only nod in reply. Hopefully nothing will go wrong. We make our way through a secret passageway. I've heard of the secret passageway from the king before. This is the first time I've ever been here. They say this was built as an escape route should the need arise to They say that this was built as an escape route should the need to evacuate the royal family arise. Only the commander of the Order of Caldera and the king know about this place. Rod, how do you even know this place? How did you get a key? I thought that only the king and Sir Alcaster had copies. It was Lady Parfait who showed me this place and gave me the key. I can't leave the palace unattended under normal circumstances, so she suggested I go through here whenever I needed to get to the March-in. Then, how was she able to get a copy of the key? You should ask her that yourself. Anyway, you haven't even told me what you needed from your room. It's an item that will break Waltz's curse. I see. Why did it take you so long to respond to my letter? The palace has been on high alert since last week. Why? Rod stops and looks at me. The hesitation is clear in his eyes. Did something happen? A week ago, the king received a letter. A warning. A letter? It said that 3 days from now, the king will be judged and convicted. His crown will be given to one more worthy. I stare at Rod with slow understanding. 3 days from now, but that date? Your 18th birthday. I continue to stare at Rod in disbelief. This cannot be coincidence. But a new king? Do you think someone is specifically targeting my father? We all know that royals are always in danger. This threat has made the king especially nervous. Are the witches involved in this? The silence that falls within the tunnels is heavy. I think there is a good chance they must be. That's why the Order of Caldera has tightened security. We continue walking in silence. Eventually, Rod points to something ahead of us. Here we are. The dim light of the tunnel illuminates a rusted door that leads to the palace. Rod looks around warily while Waltz and I quickly duck into the shadows of a column. The guards will be doing their rounds on this side soon. We need to hurry. Right. The hallways are thankfully quiet as we traverse them. Rod did a good job of scoping out the times of patrol. Eventually we reach my room. I stop at the door for my room, suddenly overwhelmed by nostalgia. It has been so long since I've been in my room. Is this Emmeline's room now? No. By the king's order, your room has been untouched since you were cursed. Then, what has become of this room? I look at Rod in shock as he studies the door to my room with a complicated expression on his face. I think maids are sent in here to dust occasionally, but otherwise everything should be just as it was before. But why would the king keep the room as if he does not remember me? I turn back to the door thoughtfully, then glance at Rod. We can handle the rest. You should leave before you draw any unwanted attention. We do not want to get you in trouble. Don't worry, I'll figure out a way to get back to the passage without alerting anyone. What? You've changed. What do you mean by that? You never would have cared about someone else's safety before. Rod turns to leave before I can respond. Be careful. Thank you. Garland and I will stand outside. Make it quick. I nod at Jurian before turning back to the door and turning the knob. I glance at Waltz and he nods at me. I take a deep breath and open the door. Rod told me that my room had been untouched since I left, but I was not expecting it to be like this. Nothing has changed. Not a thing out of place. There's not even a speck of dust on the dolls or my shelves. Lucette? I was confused as to why this room had been untouched. Certainly the king would have thought to do something else with it. Or at the very least, he would not have maids coming in consistently to clean it. but I cannot let myself linger on the questions. I have no time for them. We came here to find Neverland and Tinkerbell. I look at Waltz and nod. Let us start searching. Time passes, but I'm only able to find the key. The box is nowhere to be found, not even in the drawer that I remember putting it in. To think that you had Neverland and Tinkerbell this whole time? Have you tried searching for it in my room before? I have, but I didn't find anything. She must have used a glamour magic to hide it from me. I stared at the key with frustration. I don't understand. I'm sure it was here. Are you sure you didn't throw it away? No, I would never throw away such a beautiful box. Besides, I keep most of my things. They are all valuable to me, even if they're not outwardly beautiful. I wouldn't have believed you if I hadn't seen this. He leans down to pluck a puppet from one of my drawers. He holds it up with a smile and I feel my cheeks heat in embarrassment. I never remembered to throw that out. Waltz gazes at me thoughtfully. That's the only reason? Well, I look at the puppet in his hands and find the truth spilling out of me. I was never able to put my finger on why, but I've always liked that puppet. A smile stretches across Waltz's face. You kept it, even though I did such a bad job with the sewing. What? You made this? Yeah, this is the first puppet I ever made. Waltz turns the puppet in his hands, looking down on it fondly before his eyes meet mine. You were the one who taught me how to sew in the first place, you know? What? I was the one who taught him how to sew? I stare at the puppet. I probably kept it because you made it. How cruel. Huh? Do you have any idea what you're doing to my poor heart? You seem perfectly fine to me. Waltz shakes his head and sighs. Waltz? So dense. What? The knob begins to turn. Waltz and I exchange glances before we both dart to different hiding places. I hide myself under the bed and he runs behind the curtains, which more easily conceal his smaller body. The king? What is he doing here? When the king steps inside, I notice that there's something in his hands. That's the box, but why does he have it? I look at Waltz and he gives me a small nod, affirming that it is indeed Neverland. Who's there? Show yourself now if you don't want to get hurt. The king unsheathes the sword. What should we do? I look at Waltz who signals me to stay in place. He mouths something, and I think he may be saying that he means to find a way to get us out. Is Waltz going to sacrifice himself again? Will he be alright? Should I trust him? Okay, so I admit I messed up a lot of this, so I'm gonna, here's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna start a new file around here. Because I feel like around the beginning, especially around, the recovery scene, I think I did something wrong. So, I think I'm guaranteed to get a wrong end this time too, but we'll see. So, I did reveal myself last time, and maybe that was wrong time to disobey, for all I know, but you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot and trust him, so we're gonna stay. I nod at Waltz. He steps out of the curtains and raises his hands in surrender. Forgive me, Your Majesty. I know you. You were Hilda's apprentice. Waltz, was it? I remember that Waltz worked for Mother, so naturally the king would know who he was. It has been a while, Your Majesty. I'm honored you still remember me. You haven't changed. Not at all. So Hilda really did curse you for betraying her. Betraying her? Betraying her how? Okay! Staying behind was actually better! Okay. The king places his sword back in its scabbard. I have no idea what you're doing here now, but... The king surprises us both with getting down on one knee and bowing to Waltz. Your Majesty, you shouldn't. I was never able to thank you after the war, so thank you.
did so much for our kingdom, Waltz. So thank you. We owe you our lives. If only all witches were as good as you. The king stands once again, his posture stiff and straight. There are more of us than you think, Your Majesty. I'm lost. What are they talking about? But I didn't do it for the kingdom. Waltz turns to look at me suddenly, a small smile on his face. I did it for her. Her? Who are you talking about? Waltz nods his head at me. It's all right, Lucette. I slide out of my hiding place and stand in front of the king. It has been months since I last saw him. The king's eyes widen as he looks at me. You're that girl from the gates. Do you remember me? It's well like I find it impossible to forget you. What? I have a lot of questions for the two of you, but the most important is, why are you both in this room? Regardless of the fact that I know you, Waltz, you have still broken into the palace. We would not have done it if we did not have to. I steal myself a further scolding when the king turns to look at me. That box you're holding? We needed to break Waltz's curse. We needed to break Waltz's curse. Okay. How did you come to have it, Your Majesty? The king looks down at the box, as if only noticing it for the first time. I was in this room the other day and noticed a chip on the side of the box. I took it to get it fixed. A chip? I did drop it once a while back, but did not think to get it fixed myself. Why would you do that? The king looks around the room, a faraway look in his eyes. This room is special to me, though I do not know why. I feel this room and I are both waiting for someone to return, and everything must be perfect for when they do. I hear my chest tighten even as the king huffs out a derisive laugh. What am I saying? He cannot miss me when he does not remember me. He can't. Right? But if this box is all that you require, Waltz, you may have it. It is the least I can do after all that you've done for us. The king holds out the box to Waltz, who reaches out to take it. Thank you, Your Majesty. Look who we have here. We all freeze at the sound of the new voice. I turn and find an all too familiar face leaning against the doorway, a mischievous grin on his face. What a sweet little reunion. Varg. Chapter 6. Enemy Betrayals! Because, come on, this is what it is. Anime betrayals. You can't deny it. But yeah, looks like staying behind was the correct thing to do. So by the time I do the third shot, I think I'll know for sure which things I need to do. Right, let's go back. Varg! I told you I'd come back for you, didn't I? Varg taps his cane on the floor, creating a shock with powerful energy that blasts us all across the room. Also, there's something I need to say. Hold on one sec. Varg taps his cane onto the floor, creating a shock with powerful energy that blasts us all across the room. There we go. Okay. Now back to regularly scheduled programming. The impact of the magic forces me against the wall. I collapse to my knees, pain thrumming in my head. The king collapses somewhere nearby, and I hear the crack of the box as it lands on the ground a few feet away from us. Waltz holds out his hand, I take it and he helps me back to my feet. Lucette, are you alright? Yes. Lucette? The king looks at me quizzically, but his gaze does not linger. He looks toward Varg, his eyes narrowed. Did the king remember who I was? Your Majesty, are you hurt? The king shakes his head at Waltz before turning his attention to Varg, his eyebrows furrowed. Who is this man? Your Majesty, this person is working for the Wicked Witches. What? Wait, what happened to Jurian and Garland? They were just outside the door. What did you do to them? Varg cocks his head to the side. Who? The guards just outside this door. I'm sure they must have hid themselves when they saw the king coming to this room, but they still should have been able to see Varg coming. Guards? I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, Princess. Varg seems like he's telling the truth, but I cannot trust him. Please, let them be safe. I see Neverland a few feet from us. I could try to grab it, but Varg will probably thwart my attempt with magic. I have to wait for an opening. I'll distract him. While I do that, the both of you need to run. What? I eye Varg. He looks at the three of us with his lips slightly quirked, as if he is amused. This isn't the time to argue with me, Lucette. Okay. I forgot. I think I stayed with him in this part. I know there's one part you disobey him. I think it was this part, but let's try listening to him and see what happens. So I know I'm probably gonna be wrong with this playthrough, but we'll just show that we've explored every single option, and then we'll see what happens with my third attempt. So for now, let's listen to him. I nod at him. Waltz extends his hand and snaps his fingers. Hundreds of flower petals suddenly appear in midair. It's as if being in the middle of a storm of flowers. Varg looks startled. He squints through the flowers. You think this little parlor trick is going to save anyone? Go! Let's go! I grab the king's hand and pull him with me toward the door. Not so fast. Varg strikes his cane against the floor once more, conjuring a strong wind that blows all the petals away and clears the room. Waltz tries flower petals. It is not very effective. You know I'm not letting you get away this time, I'm not letting you get away this time, Princess. The king draws his sword and motions for us to stand behind him. Father, his cane is enchanted. You cannot hold him with just a blade. Father? I am at a loss for words. It has been a long time since I called him that. Much to my surprise, the king's lips pull into a soft smile. You said that at the gates one day, when you were seeking an audience with me. I have not been able to forget that day. Before I could say anything in return, a familiarly smooth voice breaks the ensuing silence. Oh? I wonder where all these voices are coming from. A familiar man steps into the doorway. He inspects everyone in the room quietly. Mithros. Your Majesty? Quickly, summon the knights. We have an intruder in the palace. He gestures at Varg, who looks unperturbed. An intruder, you say? Sir Mithros turns to Varg. At first his expression is impassive, but then slowly, his lips begin to edge into a sly smile. You're such a ruffian, Varg. Look at all this property destruction. I can only gape at Sir Mithros in shock. If he knows Varg, then he most certainly is affiliated with the witches. You know this man? Explain yourself, Mithros. We've all been thrown off guard by Sir Mithros' laughing, so his laugh becomes a mad cackle. There's a strange brightness in his eyes that sends shivers down my spine. I kind of imagine him like with the laugh of Light Yagami. I think of it more as Japanese adaptation, but his American one would work just as well here too. And I think, yeah, like the voice actor who played Light Yagami in the American dub would totally be perfect to play Mithros. And then, like I said earlier, Delora, I kind of imagine more Susan Egan, the voice actress of Megara from Hercules. He'd be good there too. And then, I think it was Keith David that played Goliath in Gargoyles. He would be a pretty good serial caster. If all this were adapted into an anime. To be honest, I have not, besides Clannad actually, I've actually never seen an Ultimate being adapted into an anime since, actually ever since Clannad I haven't seen an Ultimate adapted into an anime. So, if they were gonna, or Dramatical Murder is another one, Dramatical Murder and Clannad. Besides those two, I actually haven't seen any other visual novel adapted into an anime. And I think Cinderella Phenomenon would certainly be very good at that. So, if any studios are looking into it, I mean, come on. Webtoon managed to get Tower of God into a Crunchyroll original anime. So if that can happen, I think certainly Cinderella Phenomenon could be turned into an anime, because I would certainly watch it. And American dub people, especially Bang Zoom Entertainment, I think is one of the big ones. Hit up those people that I suggested, because I think they'll be pretty good at that. Just saying. Also, Phil Omar would be pretty good. Don't know about which role, though, but he would be really good at this, too. Anyway, we're all thrown off guard by Sir Mithros' laughing. Soon as, okay, I already said this part because I mentioned Light Yagami. Anyway, let's keep going. My apologies, Your Majesty. I am just amused at my servant's atrocious behavior. At ease, Varg. Sir Mithros gestures at Varg, a silent command to lower his cane. Varg obeys him before moving to a corner of the room and leaning against the wall with disinterest. Don't worry, Your Majesty. You're not the one we're after. What? Sir Mithros turns his sly smile on me and I instinctively take a step back. The princess is the lady we need to escort. Escort? Princess? This girl is a princess? That is correct. It is a shame you can't remember your own daughter, even though she stands right in front of you. Now with your vagueness, explain yourself. The king's grip on the hilt of his sword tightens. I'm not obliged to explain everything to you. Try thinking on your own for a change, Your Majesty. Mithros. Sir Mithros ignores the king's outburst and turns his attention to Waltz. He visibly stiffens and his sly smile contorts into a grimace. And look who we have here. We see that the traitor has returned to the palace. Waltz stares at him, looking puzzled. Sir Mithros tilts his head to the side and offers Waltz a lopsided smile. You still look the same as you did back then. I did not think that it was possible for you to grow any weaker, Waltz Cresswell. Mithros, I see. Waltz suddenly looks melancholy as he stares at Sir Mithros. Waltz, what is going on? This man's real name is Myth, and he is a witch, same as me. He appears that he has been using a powerful glamour to conceal his real identity. If I hadn't been cursed, I wouldn't have been able to tell right away. I would not give yourself so much credit, Cresswell. Waltz narrows his eyes and says nothing. I glance between the two of them, confused. But how do you know him? He secretly worked for your mother, practically worshipped her. I was the only other person who knew of his existence as a witch outside the Tenebrarum bearer. A witch? I trusted you, Mithros. The king says the words through gritted teeth, his face contorted in anger. Sir Mithros flicks a wrist. It is a dismissive gesture. He still looks amused. What a hypocrite you are, Your Majesty. He eyes Waltz. You're willing to play nice with some witches but not others. This bias is what drove us witches to madness in the first place. Sir Mithros faces the king with a grin. You human hypocrites are so easy to manipulate. It is pathetic. Mithros? The king charges towards Sir Mithros with a sword held high. Your Majesty, don't! The king's sword never touches Sir Mithros. Sir Mithros only has to hold out his hand and suddenly an invisible force pushes the king back. He crashes into one of my shelves, knocking down my dolls. Your Majesty! I quickly run to his side to help him up. Thankfully, he does not seem to have any major wounds. To think that there was a witch working in the palace the whole time? Not the good kind of witch either. I was too careless. Rejoice, Your Majesty. I still have many more surprises for you. I will never forgive this betrayal, Mithros. Betrayal? I'm afraid that you've been played for a fool this entire time, Your Majesty. My loyalty has always been reserved for Lady Hilda, and no one else. Myth, I can't imagine what you would hope to gain from all this. Hilda is long gone. Sir Mithros' eyes flash as he turns a severe glare on Waltz, his voice seething with venom when he speaks. Had it not been for you, traitor, she would still be here. The king mentioned Waltz's betrayal. Sir Mithros called him a traitor. What exactly did Waltz do? Sir Mithros beckons me forward with a gesture of his hand. Now, if you please, Princess, come with us if you don't want them to get hurt. Waltz immediately stands in front of me. I won't let you take her. In your current form, you don't stand a chance. I'll make certain that you will never break your curse, Waltz. This whole thing was a setup. A trap. I'm sorry, Waltz. This is my fault. No, it was mine. The reason we came was to break my curse. My eyes once again flit to the box on the floor. Neverland is just a few steps away from me. Neverland! Waltz's eyes follow mine to the box. He leans back and whispers to me. You have to get the box and break my curse. I feel for the key inside my pocket. If Waltz's true magic is indeed sealed in that box, then releasing it might give us a chance at victory. And Mithros and Varg do not seem to have caught on to the fact that the object will break Waltz's curse is right at their feet. Okay. The king moves to stand beside Waltz and draws his sword again, his body a shield. Your Majesty! I will not let you take this girl. You'll have to go through me first. You can't do this! Lucette. I've always loved that name. I thought if I ever had a daughter, I would give her that name. Magic makes even the impossible possible. You must truly be my daughter, yes? Tears start to blur my vision. Oh, how disgustingly touching. It seems that if I'll just have to deal with you first. No! I rush toward the box at the same moment Mithros casts a spell. Varg lunges toward me, his hands reaching for me. But he is too late. By the time he grabs me, I've already inserted the key into Neverland. I give it one definite twist. I almost said definitive, which I think would be a better word than definite, but anyway. I give it one definite twist, and hear the click of the box as it pops open. White flashes through the room, blinding me. Suddenly I feel a strong arm around me, holding me tightly, protectively. When I open my eyes, it is Waltz I see. Even 7 years older, I still recognize him. Waltz? Hey there, little star. See that the tide has turned, Myth. Waltz grins and I see a confidence in his expression that I have never seen before. Sir Mithros' frown has only become more severe. Fool! I will show you that I was the favorite apprentice. But careful not to hurt the princess, Mithros. Varg's voice is almost teasing, but Sir Mithros does not seem to care. I didn't plan on it. Sir Mithros gestures his hand in a sweeping gesture. The beginnings of a spell gather at his fingertips. Waltz looks at me and smiles reassuringly. Now when I say that I can protect you, Lucette, I definitely can. Waltz holds out his hand just before Sir Mithros' magic reaches us. An invisible barrier suddenly appears in front of us, thwarting Sir Mithros' magic. Seems like I'm not as rusty as I thought I would be. Waltz snaps his fingers and effortlessly creates a dark wave that pushes both Sir Mithros and Varg to the wall. Ugh! Let's go!
Focus. We don't want the camera trying to autofocus and hold our main focus.
Sorry, I might be stepping.
Better. What do we do now? The Order of Galdira. They are sworn but to an oath of protection. We can rely on them. Waltz glances down the hallway, his mouth drawn in a tight line. I see clear suspicion in his eyes. I look back at the king. The knights should have been here by now. Showing such a commotion should have brought them running. Now I know why the Waltz is staring down the hallway. He is searching for the knights that are meant to pass through here. There is no possible way they did not hear the skirmish in my bedroom. The three of us push onward. I stand between the king and Waltz, waiting. I'm not entirely sure what I am waiting for, but I can feel tension in the air. And on that note, I am going to suspend your belief here. So, I feel like I'm pretty sure that I got a bad ending this route too, but I feel like because I tried a few more passes on choices that I didn't think would matter, I think this time, by the time I do my third shot, I think I'm more sure of which ones would be the correct decision. So, we'll speed through this take 2, and then take 2 is pretty much washed. So at this point, it's just really just more so just to find out like which decision was the correct one, and then take 3, I think will be the definitive one for sure that I'll figure out what it is. And if I don't win it after 3 shots, it's either my skill's terrible or it might be the way the game was written. But anyway, here's also my social media in case you're wondering what things I'm doing. I frequently use my Twitter and my Discord, so if you need an invite to the server, there is one in the description of my YouTube channel at DJMK Off the Air. I also have Twitch as well. I simulcast with Restream.io, so that's how I'm able to simulcast them in both platforms at the same time. And I also have a blog. I also do audio live streams. I haven't been doing this frequently since the lockdown, but I'm hoping to do a few more pieces of material. Besides, I have a request from a recent show that I did that I'm going to cover famous remixes or songs that have derived from one song to the other. Things like that. So kind of like almost like a Mr. Robot kind of episode. But yeah, gonna do that for my next episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy that and relax and enjoy some of the music, because I love music too. Also, shout out to one of my coworkers. His band just recently released a new album on Spotify. I believe the band is called Khaki Cuffs. Let me pull it up one sec. Yes, Khaki Cuffs, and the album is of the same name. So go check them out. They're on Spotify right now. So yeah, they're an awesome local band. Go check them out. Give them some love. Here's also my events. My next Write With Me for Twitch is happening Friday, April 10th. So that's tomorrow, probably around 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But maybe I'll go on a little bit earlier just to be sure that I can get a good chunk of writing time in. I also have a special discount on my Fiverr shop. If you put the code OSTARA, you get a bonus reading for the spring. The code's good until May Day, but the offer is good. The offer itself, if you do redeem it, it's good until the summer solstice. So you basically have a good number, maybe about 6 months to actually obtain it. I also have O'Doon Day happening in Philly. Right, we don't change the date. And then the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, which has steep discounts for those who are in costume. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. It was great to start playing this game again. I've forgotten how well written this game actually is. It's a lot of fun, especially the way all these mysteries tend to unfold. I also speaking of mysteries, I also did a recent review on Madoka Magica's spin-off, Magia Record, not the cell phone game, but the anime based on it, and it recently has been confirmed for a second season. So we've got a lot going on. We've got sonnets, we've got music show, we've got Magia Record, and we've got this, and we've got writing. That's 5 topics I'm covering all in this month. Of course, nothing will keep you bored. So hopefully you all enjoy that. So until next time, get plenty of rest, get plenty of good food and sleep and vitamins and minerals, get some sunshine. Just take care of yourselves. Watch some of my previous videos if you want to. Shout out to my new subscribers as well. I noticed I got a couple of new ones, so thank you very much for all that love. And of course, everybody, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next stream, everybody, I will see you tomorrow right here for my write-in. Take care, everybody.